translate that for me?
Yep.
Your outlet.
Jacob, have you been on holiday?
I'm actually currently on holiday.
Oh,
As a matter of
no, I
fact.
mean the tan.
Huh?
The tan.
The tan holiday?
No, this. You have quite a tan.
Oh, well, a lot of tennis. Play a
Oh,
lot of tennis.
alright.
That's part of it. Used to have a bandana. I used to have a big white mark here. It's actually pretty bad, so I had to stop wearing a bandana. All right, I'm Jacob Holliday. So I'm a huge history nerd, and I loved watching this movie, and I loved watching all the scenes that you were in. And you play a journalist who is really, in my mind, really underappreciated. Why was this such an important role for you to take?
It was an important story with the historical significance. It was something that I was unaware of, and it just engrossed me. And I was watching the news with the Yazidis exactly when I was reading this script of the Yazidis on the mountain and being slaughtered by ISIS, and then reading about Musa Dag with the Armenians up a mountain being slaughtered, and it just really stuck with me, the entire story, and the fact that this genocide had taken place but so little was known about it, and that people were nervous about actually calling it a genocide. And it was right around also, the 100th anniversary. And then on top of that, you got a journalist character who, I looked at, there was a gentleman, a muckraker in the turn of the century called Lincoln Steffens, who was very much an inspiration for me with this Chris Myers. But a man who is fiercely intelligent, very opinionated, quite arrogant, a man of appetites, of maybe sort of dissolute in some people's eyes, and who's turning towards a notion of actually participating rather than just being an observer. Against all journalistic ethics, and the combination of all of that, mixed with the altruism of the filmmakers, and that they wanted this to be not just a film, but the beginning of a social campaign of awareness about genocide and the continued genocides now, and the lack of consequences for the Armenian genocide, leading to many other genocides since. It just very much started to feel like the right thing to do.
Why is The Promise such a great film for everyone to go out to see?
You've always got to make a film entertaining, right? First and foremost. And that's enough. And that should be enough. And it's enough just for people to go and they can enjoy the story. But with this film also, all of the proceeds go towards charities that are aimed at educating and holding people accountable for genocide nowadays, and of an awareness of the ease with which, when there are no consequences to such horror as this, that they continue to happen, and just an effort not to want to repeat history when history is as nightmarish as the Armenian genocide.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. So you, of all people, would know what an important message this portrays, because much like in The Promise, you grew up during a time of the Iranian Revolution. So how does The Promise portray an important message to the audience out there?
That's why when I was offered the role, it didn't take me long to accept the role, because of its importance, because of its message. Having come from a revolution, I noticed that this story should be told. We shouldn't wait another 100 years to tell the story, because what's in the story that took place 110 years ago is happening right now as we're speaking in Syria, in Iraq, and elsewhere. And that's why it was like a must to me must do. I have to do this movie. I have to bring it to people's attention. You're right. You're right. It was very close to home and very close to heart.
Absolutely. It's definitely a story that needs to be even more recognized,
Yes.
even after the production of this.
Yes.
And how would you say this portrayed a great message to the audience?
A great message to the audience. Actually, it's sort of the purpose of playing, as Shakespeare said, is to hold the mirror up to nature, to form her own presence, and that's what this does. It shows us what human beings are capable of, and there's a particular instance that most people don't know, that we can do this to each other, and that this was done. And was never atoned for, was never recognized, was never acknowledged by the perpetrators or the people who were culpable, as I believe the United States was culpable as well. And it leads on to more of the same, which it has. And there comes a point when it has to stop, and it stops by beginning to tell the truth about your past, so that you can tell the truth about the present.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I believe there's one quote that says along the lines of "Those who fail to recognize history are doomed to repeat it." And I like how you touched on that. I like that. And how did you like working with Terry, and how did that play into the movie's production?
I loved working with him. He's an actor's director, truly. And at all times, he's with you, he's with his actors. If there's anything he would like to add to, he will. Otherwise, it's all Shohreh. He would climb while we were working in the mountains, he would climb up the mountain to say, and I'm like, you don't have to climb the mountain to say that. Just wait for us. But he's an amazing director to work with. The director of Hotel Rwanda, when I first heard, I said, I have to work with this director. And I'm so happy that the result was amazing.
He's good.
Good way to put it. And was there a favorite scene of yours in the movie, whether you were in
My
it or
scene
not?
That's my favorite scene.
Oh, I love that scene, my God. Oh my God, you're amazing. You're unbelievable.
No,
You are it.
small part.
But it's
Very
still
convincing.
because I'd read about your character in a book, and as soon as you appeared, I'm like, he is it. He is it. He's amazing. Yeah, sure. Well, yes, there are so many memorable moments of this film, and the best one of them all is my son's wedding, Mikhail's wedding. We really enjoyed that wedding. Actors as well. We enjoyed the scene. Yeah.
So I'm a huge history nerd, and I love everything there is to love about history, and I really appreciate you making this movie.
Oh, thank you.
But why choose the Armenian genocide? Why is this such an important movie for everyone to go see?
Well, I didn't choose it. It chose me to some degree in that I was sent the script written by Robin Swycore that I subsequently rewrote. But the chance to do it, I couldn't pass up. Previous to Hotel Rwanda, I'd known nothing, virtually nothing about it. I knew bad things happened to the Armenians. That was basically it. Then, researching genocide during the Hotel Rwanda process, I became much more informed about what had happened. And then, lo and behold, 10 years later, I get this script, which not only offered the opportunity to tell the history story of the Armenian genocide, but had a love theme that allowed me to make a piece of entertainment, hopefully, that if people who weren't particularly interested in the history of it or whatever would still feel they'd saw a good movie. So all of those, the combination of all those factors was great.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very entertaining. I enjoyed it. I could just
Thank you.
see the faces on everyone in the screening room. We all loved it.
Great.
And I was reading that you really like historical films because it can really show how the human spirit can triumph and survive in terrible situations like this. How does The Promise show that human spirit surviving and triumphing?
Yeah. Well, in Oscar Isaac's character, Mikhail, is basically an ordinary man. He's a medical student aspiring to be a doctor. Falls in love with someone, can't help falling in love with someone when he's promised, engaged in the modern terms to someone else. And then as that love drama sets off, he becomes embroiled in the genocide and the outbreak of it. You know, is arrested, disappears, and so you have this drama of this ordinary man trying to survive, not just through the genocide, but also deal with the personal issues in his life, and they all collide. But ultimately, his ability to stand up, to survive in this horrible situation, and carry others through with him, is for me a story of the triumph of the human spirit over evil. And I've always looked for those stories from the very first films I've done, true life stories that hopefully empower people and encourage them and give them a sense of hope in difficult times as we have today.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And obviously, the Armenian genocide was a terrible moment in history. What would you say would be something, Des, that the common man could do to prevent something like that from occurring?
Well, I think we all have to recognize what's going on. You know, it's happening today in the Middle East around ISIS and extremist attempts to wipe out the Yazidi population, the Coptic Christian population, the Shia population in certain areas. So there's attempts for this mass murder, for genocide to take place, and we've got to mobilize people to recognize that, to help organizations that are combating it. And that's what I hope. I mean, basically this film's about refugees and a love story. And so I'd like people to come out of it saying, not stop demonizing refugees, understand that they're in the worst possible situation. And at the same time, you want people to feel that they've been involved in a love story and caught up in it. So it's a combination of all those things in the grand tradition of Zhivago and Reds and Rand's daughter and the English Patient.
Yeah, absolutely. Raising awareness is very important. And I think that's all we have
All
time
right,
for.
great.
but
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Nice
Thank
to
you.
meet
Good
you.
luck.